Add your own flavor to a hotel party, a pool party, or hanging out at the beach. But not right now. Stay your butt at home. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Montage, where we talk tech and personal finance for now. I'm your host, Kyle, and this is another installment of IROSBIAGMLT. That is, I review old stuff because I ain't got money like that. I'm excited to be doing another piece of audio equipment in this video, but this time it's for everybody to hear. We're talking about the MEGABOOM 2 Bluetooth speaker. The Boom to me checks more boxes than it doesn't. It's a very full sound experience, although it's ironic that it's called the Boom when it's definitely lacking in bass. But to have strong bass, it may sacrifice some of the mids and the highs in such a small form factor, and I want the mids and the highs. The Boom has a healthy mix of both being decently loud, but more importantly, being articulate. Decently articulate for $150. Noticeably more than its JBL counterpart, the Charge, but noticeably less bass than the Charge, and also noticeably smaller than the Charge. I can listen to improv jazz and hear the skitting and the scatting with some clarity, but then also turn up the 2 chains. It's great. But again, I mean, $150 of great. I actually got it for $80. Well, actually, I got it for free, but it was $80 at the time. Could it have more clarity and more robustness? Of course it could, but it's not Sonos, it's not Bang & Olufsen. It's a Boom, baby, so I'm not really expecting all that. All this is really doing is telling everybody that I'm ear bougie, so I'm just gonna move on to the next topic. I'm on the phone a lot. Well, for me it's a lot because I'm really introverted, because I'm really not even on the phone that much. But of course, people always want to call you the most when you're in the middle of doing something, and it kind of gets in the way. I switch over to the Boom and leave it in the middle of the room. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I guess I can't help it. Bars. And I go back to what I was doing. Half the time people can't even tell when they're on this speakerphone because it has really good clarity both ways. A lot of times with cheap Bluetooth devices, the mic picks up too little or too much, and it's hard for the other line to hear what you're saying, but you can hear them fine, so you're stuck holding the phone anyway. But not with this. From time to time I have people say they can't hear me, but that's a rarity, and in that case I move the speaker closer to my face, and I still have hands-free capability. I really like that the mic doesn't interfere with the speaker, and the speaker doesn't interfere with the mic, and it seems to be a perfect harmony. I also like that I don't have to change my Bluetooth settings when I make phone calls because the mic doesn't suck. Again, it does a pretty good job. The design is great, straight up. You see what I did there? Yeah. But it does have some negatives. I like the thought that went into the design to make it a 360 sound delivery. I also like that it's built up and not out like many front-firing portable speakers. It makes less of a footprint if space is limited. The size is just right, it fits in your hand. It's kind of like a 99-cent Arizona can. Fits perfectly in a lot of cup holders. Why I care about that, I don't really know. The rugged fabric gives a nice textured feel. The rubber top and bottom give some shock absorbency if you drop it. Also on the bottom you have the charging port and auxiliary port under a couple of tabs. What's holding it there is a 1/4 threaded D-ring. You can use the D-ring to hang the speaker upside down or take it out and mount the speaker on a tripod. They came in a ton of different colors. Unfortunately, they don't really make these anymore, but it added a lot of uniqueness if you wanted to have more personality than just your playlist. But let's go back and focus on what the D-ring holds in place. The tabs that plug the ports are there because it's freaking waterproof. It's IPX7 rated, so it can be immersed in 1 meter of water for up to 30 minutes. In this day, that feature is common, but I don't want to undermine that that is still pretty cool. These are designed to be with you wherever you are, so if you get dirty, your speaker might too. If you're out on the beach and you get sandy, you jump in the water and rinse off. Take your Boom with you. But say you're out in the water and you drop it, unlike some of its Boom cousins, it doesn't float, so be careful. The Boom also has this tap function, but I'll go further into that in the functionality section. Like I said, there are some negatives. That is one of them. There's also how MEGABOOM went for that 360 sound, but it's pretty obvious with this big strip down the center why it's not actually 360. It's more like 300. You can really hear the distortion difference as you rotate the speaker in front of you. It has 2 drivers pointing outwards and a couple other passive radiators that make it not quite fully surrounded with sound, even without the strip. But when it's far enough away, you don't really hear that. I don't have a lot of things that are cute and rugged. It's so great that this is both. While I like its appearance, I also toss it around like I don't care about it because I know it can handle it. I drop it, throw it in my bag with whatever else, throw the bag around, and it has been perfectly fine, which is also a great testament to why they come with a 2-year warranty. Thankfully, from my experience, I have never had to use the warranty. I have it out in the snow with me when I shovel. I also have it out in the heat with me when I'm doing semi-construction stuff like making shelves. And I also think I'll have it for many more years to come. And did I mention it's waterproof? It's got a 6-to-1 charge ratio where it takes 2.5 hours to charge, and that will dissipate over 15 hours of continuous play. 15 hours is meh to me. It's my minimum requirement at this point in my life, but nothing outstandingly impressive. In the real world, I charge the speaker once every week or every 2 weeks. I only use it for half an hour to a couple hours at a time when I'm using it regularly. I have long periods of standby time, sometimes months long. Then I come back and it cuts on. The standby life is adequate, helped by its automatic shutoff when not in use. But when it's charging or just plugged in, it stays on constantly whether in use or not. What I don't like though, aside from the fact that it charges slow, but I'm not tripping on that, don't let this battery fully die. If it dies, when you plug it in and turn it on, it will politely tell you, "No thank you, you should have come when I sent for you." And it takes a good while for you to get on her good side. Intuitively, if you aren't looking at the blinking red light, you will be reminded by a verbal cue of "please charge, battery at critical level." Makes it sound more intense than it is. I like that. The Bluetooth is adequate. I can leave my phone on the second floor of my house and go down to the basement with no disturbance. Pairing with NFC works seamlessly, all the ports work, all the buttons work, but some other things are just, But they tried though. I love the power on and power off sound, the connect and disconnect sound, even the searching for Bluetooth sound, which you can turn off in the app if you know like. They're all quick little conga melodies, which is musically refreshing to me, but also the only reason I can think of why they would go with that awful tap function. Like, were they trying to mimic a drum tap? I don't know. You have to hold the speaker upright in one hand, slightly off kilter, then tap the top to pause or play, double tap to skip. That's it. And of course you're asking yourself the same question that I am. What if you only have got one hand? Or worse off, one arm? You'd have to fish for your phone every time you want to skip a song if you don't have it handy. Oh, that's bad, Kyle. It's super gimmicky, it half works, and in theory I do think it's cool, but it's just dumb functionally. What's even worse is when you're trying to get it to work and you accidentally turn the speaker off instead because the top center is also where the power button is. And it doesn't work when it's sitting flat on a table. You literally have to pick it up and hold it. It's so annoying. Sure, it's cute to be able to mount your speaker on a tripod, but with it being recessed, it's not super functional. Most tripod mounts look something like this, but this screw isn't long enough to catch into the threads because it bottoms out on the base of the speaker. Thus, I can't use the tripod mount. You can avoid that by having thread-only mounts, but at this point, I don't care. Again, it's waterproof, but it doesn't float. That kind of sucks. So if you drop it and you're not in the shallow end, grab it immediately. With that, remember that Bluetooth is designed for the medium of air. When submerged in water, its range is significantly decreased, so don't freak out when you jump in a pool with it in your hand and the music suddenly stops. Also, doing this review made me remember when I first got the Boom, it had an Alexa and Google Assistant integration that has since been removed. Probably because it interfered with the UI's introduction of the Blast, but goes to show how much I don't miss it. It was whack. It never worked super well from what I remember, plus you had to press the Bluetooth button to activate it, which in this form factor, if it's not hands-free, I'm not using it. I will say that a majority of all these flaws have been addressed in the Boom 3. Yo, the app is phenomenal. It shows you your exact model and coloring. You can adjust volume, EQ settings, the typical stuff, firmware updates, set alarms, blah, blah, blah. But the key functions are you can turn off the tap control, change the name of the speaker, and all the settings save into the speaker, so you don't have to readjust those when you get a new phone. Then there's this party up feature that's controlled only through the app, where you can connect up to 150 different speakers in the Boom family to play music simultaneously. I don't know nearly enough people with booms to test the limits of this, but it has worked for 2 speakers for sure. But here is the cream of the crop for me. I can turn the speaker on and off from the app from dozens of feet away. Super useful when I forget where in the house I left the boom. I can turn it on and listen for the congas. Or if I'm out and about and the speaker's in my bag, I can start listening without needing to take it out of the bag. It's super, super convenient. But like with everything wireless, there's going to be some connection issues from time to time, and this works 95% of the time. I really like the MEGABOOM too, because among the sub $200 Bluetooth speakers, this is probably the best harmony of durability, capability, and sound quality. However, that's depending on what you're searching for in your sound quality. Do you prefer loud and bassy, or do you want more articulate and details? If it's the latter, go MEGABOOM 2 or Boom 3. If you want both, you can shell out a little more money for the larger MEGABOOM, MEGABLAST, or the intensely powerful HYPERBOOM, and really get BOOMbastic. Or go JBL Charge and upwards. It's not like they're paying me for this promotion. And since this is reviewing old stuff, there have been additional iterations introduced into the Ultimate Ears family, such as the Boom 3, the Blast, and the Mega versions of each. I will be leaving links in the description for all of those if you so choose to purchase through my affiliate links. Thank you. Also, thanks for watching, everybody. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for my next videos if you're not scared, cuz. See me soon. Deuces.
Is the elephant heavy? I'm coming back, baby.